Okay, so I had to kind of, oh, okay. I should have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hello, how's it going? How are you? I don't know when you'll see this, but by the time this gets posted, it'll be like July, like late July. So hello, how's it going? How does it feel to be a time traveler? Should I talk about jealousy? I don't want to talk about jealousy, but I think I'm going to talk about jealousy in this video. I think it's really unfortunate that there are so many insecure people in the world, you know? And I think it even sucks more when those insecure people happen to be people that are close to you, people that are in your energy field. Because the thing about jealousy is that it's not a desirable feeling to have. And if you don't have the understanding to like know that it's not something to be made into like it's meant to be an inspiration. Like you're meant to like see somebody and be like, oh, that's cool. I'm inspired. I want to do what they're doing, or something like that. But a lot of people see that and they like focus too hard on like the aspect of like I'm not doing that, or I don't have that, and I wish that I did. And then they also bypass the part where it's like you have to like put in some effort. You have to put in some effort to make sure that it happens, you know what I mean? Like you would have to train, you'd have to up your skill level, you know what I mean? And it is unfortunate, but a lot of people would love to have success without actually working towards it. And then another proxy, a lot of people would love to appear successful and don't really care if they actually have the substance of success, if that makes sense. And maybe that's the narcissists of the world, is what I've heard, you know? Narcissistic people who are like malignant in their narcissism, I should say, because and I do feel like there's a need to differentiate and distinct, because there are different types of narcissistic people and not all of them are evil. And a majority of people, I think, in the world are narcissistic. So like to lump all narcissistic people and be like, oh, they're all evil, I feel like oversimplifies what we're talking about, and it disallows us from talking about it in a way that actually makes change. Like, because if you're a narcissist and you're listening to other people talk about narcissists and use the word narcissism in a way that is inherently evil and like bad, you know, if somebody were to like, if you were to end up being in a relationship with somebody and they genuinely perceived you to be narcissistic but not in a malignant way, and they said you're a narcissist, you would take that in the wrong way, because all you know is like narcissists are evil, like that's a bad thing. But once again, that's not true, and that's not how that works. Like, because part of being narcissistic is the idea that like you don't have empathy for other people, or at least if you do, you are very good at directing it when you want to and like turning it off and all that stuff. Like a narcissist by definition is somebody who is hyper focused on themselves, and when that's the definition, there's so many of us are hyper focused on ourselves. It's just a matter of whether or not you're actively considering other people. And when we talk about narcissists, I feel like a lot of people also are talking about, I said we were going to talk about jealousy, but we veered off. Oops. I feel like when people talk about narcissism, they're actually talking about like psychopaths and sociopaths, because some of the traits that people talk about when it comes to that stuff are like, you know, enjoying seeing people in pain and like, you know, laughing when people are hurt and stuff like that. And that's sociopathy, you know? I'm not a mental health professional, by the way, so my semantics opinion is not really, I guess, anything, unless you personally appreciate my opinion and my perspective. But yeah, I'm not a professional in that regard. But yeah, and a lot of narcissists, I think, do experience jealousy and unfortunately get taken away by their feelings of jealousy, not taken away, that's not what I meant to say, but carried away, spirited away. Also, I'm sure some of you might notice, I don't know, I feel like I look really good in this video. I just recorded some other videos. I recorded 3 other videos for July, for this month, that are going to be like smoke with me videos, and I don't do that, I haven't done that in a long time, But I did that, and so I'm a little bit high because it was like 45 minutes of content, something like that. Each video was at least 14 minutes. It was one 14-minute video, it was a 15-minute video, and then I think a 16-minute video. So you do the math, because I don't really love doing math sometimes. But yeah, and because I'm not going to say everybody's jealous of me, but I unfortunately do have the experience of coming across a lot of people who are normally very secure within themselves feel like jealous towards me. And if I wanted to have an ego about it, I think it would be very flattering to think like, oh, you know, this person who has a lot of status in the world, who has a lot of, you know, a lot of people who admire them and stuff, they look at me and they feel some type of way. But I don't like that, because the other side of that is it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to feel jealous towards somebody. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel good for the most part, you know? And unfortunately, a lot of us do dim ourselves down so that we don't have to experience that jealousy. We don't have to experience making somebody, because you didn't do anything on purpose, but making somebody feel that feeling, you know? And I very rarely have experienced it personally, I'm just going to be honest. There have been a few moments where I actively was like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of this person. And 9 times out of 10 when I feel that, like I use that and I go within and I'm like, okay, like now what? I remember there was this one chick on Twitter, we were mutuals I think at some point, I don't know. But she was really popular, and she was a spiritualist. She was very popular. And I think, once again, I think we were mutuals at some point, so I think we exchanged words. And I remember sometimes I would like witness her on Twitter and whatnot get so much attention, and it did feel a type of way, like, not that I didn't get any attention, but I definitely was not getting the same amount of attention that I am now. And sometimes it just felt weird. It felt like off. It was like, okay, what? And like, I don't fucking get me wrong, I am a very supportive person, even through those moments of jealousy. So like, there have been moments where, like, if we're mutuals on the social media app, I'm going to treat you like we're friends. I'm going to repost your things. I'm going to, like, you know what I mean? But occasionally with some people, like this beautiful person, I would just notice that the feeling would come up and I'd be like, why? Okay, why am I jealous of this person? And because a lot of people want to shame the feeling of jealousy and be like, you're a bad person because you're jealous. And it's like, no. Or you're an ugly person because you're jealous. And it's like, no. It's a natural feeling that all of us feel at some point in our journey, but it's a matter of what you do with it that really fucking matters, you know? And at some point, I think I did unfollow her, maybe blocked her. Whether or not she noticed, I don't know. Maybe she did, I don't know. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I am a unique energy, and like, I know even when that feeling of jealousy appears, like, there's an energy of like kindredness and, you know, like, so I don't know how she felt about it, I don't know, but I did not want to see her on my page. And like, I don't know, I wish her love, I wish her the best, you know? Like, I think I'm a more evolved creature, so like, my experience of certain things is very different than most people, but I still experience a lot of things that humans experience, you know what I mean? And I am 99% sure there are many people who have felt jealous towards me, because so often, unfortunately, I get close to people, or I like talk to people, I exchange energy with people, and then at some point they like block me seemingly randomly, and I have to assume that it's nothing that I did actively, you know, but because I notice energy. Why am I crying? Because I notice energy, and like sometimes I can sense, and I love my guides so much, because a lot of times recently when I'm pulling for somebody, if like it'll come through if they're jealous of me or some shit like that. And recently I had one of my mutuals block me, and I don't know what her exact reason was, I don't know, but she blocked me, no warning. And this was right after I came back into contact with somebody who had also blocked me, somebody who was technically mutuals. We were like, you know, we were all friends on social media, I'll say. So sorry about the wind, hopefully the wind isn't an issue. But yeah, and then she blocked me, and I don't know why, and it was a little bit bittersweet, and I have to assume that it was jealousy, because I remember, like, a lot of the times when I was pulling Hey Burtons. A lot of times when I was pulling cards for her, it came through as like jealousy was present, very clearly. And a lot of the times I would read it and just like read it as though I was like directing it, like I was talking to her, like jealousy's in the atmosphere. But I knew intuitively that it was directed towards me, you know? Because once again, I pick up on subtle energies and I notice patterns and I notice little body languages and whatnot. So, and it sucks because it's like, I have so much respect for you. I love your content. I love what you do. And I love what I do, and I know you love what I do. So why does it have to be weird? You know what I mean? Like and some people were saying, because jealousy was a really hot topic this last few weeks, but some people were saying that it is mental illness to dislike somebody that much and to stick around them, to stay around them, because you're not only just hurting the other person with your potentially negative behaviors, but you're also hurting yourself, because why are you allowing yourself to feel that much anger on a regular basis, that much hatred, that much disdain, Like, I know for a fact that I feel a lot of anger and resentment towards my family, specifically my brothers, but, and today's their birthday. I haven't said happy birthday, not intentionally. Like, originally I wanted to leave the house and not be around at all, because it is their time of celebration and I don't necessarily want to be a party pooper and be like, fuck you on your birthday. I mean, I'm not a fuck you type of person. I don't talk to people like that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of the type of person that I am, I'm very aware of certain things and I don't want to, like, actively go, like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Like, energy management has been something I've been talking about the last few weeks, and I think it's really important to be mindful of how you're coming across, how you're influencing other people, how you're impacting other people, and the same for how other people might impact us. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, though. It's a full-time job. It's something that you will, if you start doing it, it's something that you will continuously be doing. Like, sure, you'll get to sleep, sure. But, it's something you'll constantly be thinking about if you truly do it right. If you want to master energy management, you're like, it's a full-time job. Ideally you would be like praying or like setting some sort of intention for protection before sleep even, and like upon waking you would also be very conscious of like the energy that you're cultivating for the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. And so if you're not ready for that, that's okay. That's fine. But and part of that is jealousy, like knowing when a feeling comes up in your body and like what to do with it. And sure, sometimes we'll make mistakes, and sometimes we're gonna numb it out. Sometimes we're gonna, it's human. We're human. We're stupid sometimes. But awareness is key, And if you're watching this video, I have to assume that you understand that to some degree, So I think I'm getting a lot better at being patient. Maybe, I don't know. This car situation, I have no choice but to wait. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like at this point I just have to wait. And I'm hoping all of the money gets released at the same time. That'd be lovely. That'd be awesome. I don't know, but and one thing that I've been wishing in the back of my mind is like, I hope to keep this job as long as I can. I don't know what things will look like when this video gets posted, because this will be 4 months into the future. And I don't like to stay stagnant. But, like, I just want to keep saving towards this car and keep, like, a sense of stability right now, because I'm not very good at saving, and that's why I needed a fundraiser in the first place, because there's a paywall, there's a barrier, there's a blockage to some degree, so it's like I can't just access the money whenever I want, essentially. And now that they put these specific restrictions on it, I definitely can't access it whenever I want. Now I literally have to wait fucking 3 months, 2 months. Ugh. But I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I guess, through it all, through the frustration, through the annoyance, because a part of me does recognize that, like, I get to experience this earth shit and be a part of this whatever. I don't know what's gonna happen after I die. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't happen anytime soon. Hopefully it's a long time from now. But You know, I do really like find appreciation in all this nonsense. You know, and I think you have to some degree. You know, you have to find joy in each moment, find your own little piece of happiness. I'm looking around at the tombstones, I guess. I don't know why I'm like looking around so much in this moment. And I think it really sucks that there will be people along your journey that you probably will be very fond of, but who don't have the capacity to like cultivate their own joy, to cultivate their own peace. You know what I mean? It's really unfortunate when you'll meet people on your journey who, I'm just kind of thinking aloud, I guess. If it doesn't resonate, it's okay. But you'll meet people who you really like, who you really love, but they don't love themselves. And therefore, it's really hard for you to connect with them in the same way once you realize that, once you recognize that, you know, because ignorance can sometimes be bliss, you know. And when you don't recognize that somebody is like half short of a loving being, you know, it's like, oh, fuck, they were so cool, you know. And I've met a lot of people like that where like on the surface their personality was really awesome, they were really groovy, but once again with the jealousy aspect, like, because I think part of jealousy is like not truly loving or respecting yourself and like outsourcing that to somebody else in a way, because it's like you already have these feelings within yourself, and now somebody comes along and they like trigger that, they amplify that. They're like, hey, you know that feeling that you've been ignoring for however many years of your life? Oh my god, hi. And me personally, I'm not one to shy away from my own feelings, but a lot of people do. That, you know, that's what the idea of drugs do, like numbing out. And I've made it a point to not numb out. That's not why I smoke. Like, I have very specific reasons for why I smoke. But, you know, it's like, fuck, I was trying to ignore that feeling, and now you brought it up, and now I have to deal with it in some way. And a lot of times it makes sense to be mean towards the person that you feel it towards, I guess. I can't imagine that. Once again, I will just distance myself. You know, that's just the type of person I am. But like I said, I guess it's like mental illness when people want to be around somebody that they're jealous of, that they hate. You know, it's like, why would you do that to yourself? But these people are destructive, self-destructive, I guess. God bless them. God be with them, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna end this here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that this did something for you. If it did, you should definitely engage with the video. Definitely tell me what you think down below. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. I hope you know miracles happen all the time. I hope you know whatever you're going through is temporary. Because everything's fucking temporary. Life is temporary. So try to keep your head up. Try to keep your spirits high. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.